Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Red Dead Weapons Ep for episode 11. No, I'm doing two videos of this today. Today we're going to be doing the Reapeater carbine, also known as the Spencer repeating rifle. It was designed by Christopher Spencer, also known for the Spencer rifle fame, or the Sharps rifle. Or actually, no, wait, no, wrong person, my bad. No, it was actually developed by Christopher Spencer, who was the owner of the Spencer Repeater Rifle Company. And these guns were an early form of lever-action firearms. It was revolutionary because they were used in the American Civil War, mainly by the Union. The Confederacy had a few of these, but they weren't able to use them a lot because of the copper shortage they had, which was very bad. They attempted to actually make some of these for the Confederacy, but those guns became infamous for blowing up in the hands of the Confederate shooter. Anyway, there's about 200,000 of these rifles manufactured, and these were mainly adapted by the United States Cavalry during the American Civil War, but they did not really replace the standard issue muzzle-loading rifle muskets in use at the time. Among the early users was the famous General George Armstrong Custer, the 7th U.S. Cavalry, who got shot to shit by the natives. He deserved to get shot by the natives, honestly, I feel like. It's just my opinion, because he's kind of a douchebag. Anyway, this gun was used in the American Civil War, Indian Wars, Boshin War, Paraguayan War, Franco-Prussian War, occupation of Araucania, Second French Intervention in Mexico, and was adopted by the U.S. Army and Navy, United States Navy and Army, the French, Siam, Tokugawa Shogunate, Aizu Domain, the Empire of Japan, the Empire of Brazil, Chile, and Mexico. Now, these guns, a rifle to buy this rifle in 1861, which was then first produced, would cost you, in that time's wage, $40. $40 today doesn't seem much, but back then that was a good $700 fucking dollars. If you add that for inflation, this gun was produced from 1860 to 1869. The length on it was 47 inches with a 30-inch barrel. And the carbine had a 22-inch barrel and a total length of 39.25 inches. These barrel lengths range from 30 inches, 22 inches, and 20 inches. This gun shot, my correction from the earlier Evans Repeater video where I said it shot 50-70, or 56-70 Spencer. It was actually 56-56 Spencer rimfire. The caliber was a 52. Manually cock the hammer after you cock the lever. And this gun had a muzzle velocity from 930 feet up to 10,000 feet, and an effective fire range of 500 yards, and had a 7-round tubular magazine, same as the Evans. Now, this gun was based off a earlier 1854 Smith & Wesson patent that had a 7-round tubular magazine. This gun used copper rimfire cartridges, was loaded from the butt of the rifle with a aluminum loading mechanism. As you can see here, that black thing is the magazine. What you put in, that is what you put in to close off the top off the magazine. This little aluminum thing is what you use to put the bullets in and load it. You load the buttstock, as you can see. These guns contained a black powder charge of 45 grains, and were also available in 5652, 5650, and a Wildcat 5646, as well as the original, a neck-down version of the original 5656. It was limited by the action size to about 1.75 inches. Though these guns were popular, they were almost as powerful as the 58 caliber rifled muskets used in Civil War, but weren't as powerful as the 50-70 and 45-70, which were used in the Sharps rifles. When the war broke out, Spencer tried to get a viewing by the Department of War Ordnance Department, but the department thought that soldiers would waste ammunition because, oh hey, they have 7 rounds. Oh, the fucking Ordnance Department has always been a bunch of fuck-ups, in my opinion. They get some cool shit, like a repeater, which is 14 rounds and all that. But hey, we're gonna stick with a single-shot rifle that, oh, it was revolutionary when I fought in the Civil War and the Mexican-American War, so it should still be fucking useful nowadays when people are having Gatling guns shooting at your men and people who are armed with Winchesters and early bolt actions and snipers. Fucking Ordnance Department, man. Now, They did, however, encourage the use of the breech-loaded carbine, which was like the Sharps carbine. And it was mainly used by the cavalry, as I said, though the more accurate fear was that they couldn't transport the ammo required for these rifles because Civil War, there was a whole lot of issues with getting shit transferred out, all these front stuff. Like, you got the not Western Front, but you got the Mississippi Theater, you got the Southern Theater of the War, you got like Virginia, Corinth, you got all these theaters of war going on in the Civil War, and it would have been a hassle to get all that ammo to those men over thousands of miles and hundreds of thousands of men. These guns also were really expensive to make, and they were several times out of a Springfield Model 1861 musket. Now, these guns were famously used at the Battle of Gettysburg by a couple of detachments of U.S. soldiers. They were used by the 13th Pennsylvania Reserves. They were also used at the Battle of Chickamauga, and were fairly widespread in the Western armies. But they were not that common on the Potomac, and the most notable use of these guns early on in the war was at the Battle of Hoover's Gap, where Colonel John T. Wilder's Lightning Brigade, mounted infantry, flanked behind a unit of Confederates and shot them all with those repeaters. And the Confederates, not knowing what the hell was going on, thought they were getting charged at, so they broke and ran. That was at the Battle of Gettysburg. And at Gettysburg, the Michigan Brigade, under Custer, used them at the Battle of Hanover and at the East Cavalry Field. The Confederacy was flabbergasted by these weapons, and when they did get their hands on them, they couldn't really use them well because they didn't have the reason to make them, and the Confederacy was fucked anyway. They couldn't logistically support their war anyway. And they were also famously used at the Battle of Nashville, where 9,000 mounted infantrymen armed with a Spencer under the command of James H. Wilson, chief of the cavalry division for the Mississippi, rode around General Hood's left flank, attacked him from the rear, and decimated them. This rifle was also carried by John Wilkes Booth, the assassin of President Abraham Lincoln, who was found with the Spencer carbine at the time of his death. This gun was very reliable, very sturdy, and was great for combat conditions at the time. It was really popular. It's actually a very popular round. Pretty much standard muzzleloader, which can only fire 2 to 3 rounds a minute. This gun has significant tactical advantage in the war aspect of this use. Now, the whole thing, though, is the military at the time wasn't prepared to successfully use these in a tactical advantage of its high rate of fire, and the supply chain couldn't really transport the ammo to them. And it also produced a large amount of smoke, which made it hard to see the enemy, and also if you can't see after shooting, you're fucked, because not only can your enemy probably see you, but you can't see them. This gun had a couple of bad issues with it. Though the main advantage, though, was actually the ammo. It was actually apparently waterproof and hardy, and could stand the constant jostling of long storage on the march, such as Wilson's raid. Like, there's a story that says the Sharps rifle, a paper cartridge used in muskets, and the Sharps rifles by Wilson's men were completely useless after long storage, but the Spencer ammo had no such problem due because it was using new technology of metallic cartridges. This gun was, the Spencer Company eventually sold itself to Fogarty Rifle Company, ultimately to Winchester. Many of these Spencer carbines were later sold as surplus to the France in the Franco-Prussian War in 1870. Even though the Spencer Company went out of business in 1869, the ammunition was actually manufactured up until the 1930s, and many of those rifles were converted to centerfire, which would fire then later on 50-70 brass. These guns were also very popular in Indian wars, and they decimated natives in attacks. Like, example of this was in the 1870 in Chile, during the a tribe of Mapuche Indians in Chile, who was at war with the government of Chile, attacked a unit of Chilean cavalry in January 25th, 1871, and got decimated as the natives were only armed with spears and bolas, and the soldiers shot them all to shit. Now, this gun, I'm gonna be honest, it's completely accurate to the time. These guns were really popular, like even at surplus. Like there's stories of people using this gun up to like recent. Like it's a really popular gun. It was, I think they make reproductions and stuff like Uberti and stuff and all that. Yeah, this gun is actually completely accurate. They got everything right with this rifle, which is one of the few things I'm actually proud of by Rockstar. They got this gun completely accurate. They even got the loading gate, the aluminum tin that you put the bullets in and you load this buttstock. They even got the loading gate right. You can see the loading gate. They got the way you properly cock it, the sights right, all that. Completely accurate. I was going to give this gun a rating. It's actually a really good gun in the line. Just because it's a starter gun doesn't mean it's shit. It still has good stats, just has a slow rate of fire. Now, historically, this gun was mainly used by hunters for like deer and stuff. It was a really popular deer gun. It was also used by the cavalry, mainly against natives and all that jazz, and a lot of foreign wars. Red Dead Line, would it be made sense to be using this gun? Absolutely. It was very popular, as I've said before multiple times. It also was converted to shoot 50-70, which was also a very popular cartridge at the time because it was used for buffalo. And the 50-70 conversion of these were actually very popular on the surplus market, and they actually make reproductions of those in 50-70. Now, the hammer itself is historically accurate. The cartridge ejects out that little lever there, and it on the 1860 models though, they had a little primer, I think, if I recall correctly. Like some of these had primers on them, like a little nozzle cap, like on a musket, to shoot them. I might be wrong. No, I'm thinking of something now. I'm thinking of the Springfield. My bad. But the sights, no little volley sights or anything. They should have volley sights for this. That's the only issue I have with the sights. Other than that, this rifle is completely accurate. I recommend people use it more because it has a good damage rate. Sure, only 7 rounds compared to Lancaster and all that in the Evans, but it's still a good gun. You can still whop people with it. Anyway, I think that'll be it for episode 11 of the Evans, or not the Evans, the Spencer Repeater carbine, and all of its history behind it and its actual usage and how accurate it is to the game. Anyway, I would like to thank everyone who watched this video. Thank you very much. If you would please subscribe, that'd be greatly appreciated. I'm a small channel. I want to get my channel bigger. Anyway, if you have any questions about this, or you all want to recommend a video or anything like that about a gun or something in Red Dead or its accuracy and whatnot, just let me know and I'll work on it. Now, thank you all, as I said before. Anyway, good luck out there, and peace.